I'm Bea Cupin and I'm in cold and potentially rainy, sana hindi naman, rainy Baguio City. Specifically, I'm at Fort Gregorio del Pilar at the Philippine Military Academy. We covered the commencement exercises of the Philippine Military Academy Madasigon Class of 2023. Now, quick background on the class of 2023, 310 cadets graduated and were officially commissioned into the Armed Forces of the Philippines today. 158 are going to the Army, 75 are joining the Air Force, while 77 are joining the Navy. Just a quick background ulit, over 20,000 people applied to join the PMA in 2018. Out of the 20,000 or so, only over 370 were accepted. According to PMA Superintendent Lieutenant General Rowan Tolentino, the class was the best of the best, and its members are precious jewels were ground here here at Borromeo Field in the different halls of the Philippine Military Academy. But it's also a class that's experienced loss, and that's something that we cannot ignore even as we celebrate their graduation here from the PMA. Cadet Mario Talan Jr. died from drowning when they were in their freshman year here at the Academy. The Malasigon class is also one that lost one of its members to hazing. Darwin Dormitorio died in September 2019 after months of maltreatment from upperclassmen. That's according to a police investigation. Class Valedictorian Warren Leonor, now a second lieutenant of the Air Force, said that the two cadets will always be part of the class of 2023. Now, also the class of 2023 is one that saw the pandemic or the beginnings of the pandemic unfold from inside the halls of the fort of the PMA. President Ferdinand Marcos jokingly referred to them as the class na walang uwian. So of course, President Marcos was the guest of honor and the speaker here during the graduation. It's his first PMA graduation as the Commander-in-Chief. According to the PMA Superintendent, Lieutenant General Tolentino, again, he reminded the class to never forget to continually develop your character. And I want to pull out this specific quote. He told them to always remember that you will not be judged by the numbers of suns and stars, referring to the ranks of officers in the AFP, on your shoulder, but on how they led their people. Why is this important? So behind me is the academic hall of the PMA. You'll see the words courage, integrity, and loyalty blazoned on its facade. The PMA, aside from producing commissioned officers of the AFP, they produce a lot of the top leaders, not just in military leadership, but also in civilian government, and even in the private sector. In fact, the mayor of Baguio City, Benjamin Magalong, is a PMA alumni. He belongs to the class of 1982. What sort of world is the PMA Madasigon class of 2023 entering? Well, it's one that's in the middle of volatile, rapidly changing security environment, according to President Marcos, especially in the Asia Pacific. At this rate, it seems inevitable for the Philippines to find itself in the middle, firstly, of conflict in the South China Sea. In fact, we're right smack in the middle of it, and we are witness to Chinese acts of aggression in the South China Sea every day, including also, hopefully much later on, tensions in Taiwan. Marcos did promise that his government would relentlessly pursue military modernization. Although the Philippine government has yet to detail on how that modernization would exactly go, like I'm talking about budgets, timelines, and things like that. But recently also, Marcos signed into law amendments on existing law that establish fixed terms of military officials. So these amendments were introduced from feedback of the officers in the AFP, including officers who graduated from the PMA. Now, this law is hoped to address long-running issues, including that of backlogs in promotions in the armed forces. And then there's the issue of reforming the pension system that covers the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine National Police, and other uniformed services. It will be potentially a contentious legislation that's only that Congress has only started to cover. something that we will be paying attention to as well. On the political front, earlier during the commencement exercises, we didn't see Vice President Sara Duterte. There was an expectation that she'd be coming here. Traditionally, the Vice President joins the President at the PMA graduation because it's the Vice President who awards the second-ranked cadet in the class the Vice Presidential Saber, but she wasn't here. But if you think about it, the political world is a whole different world, and that's not something that the AFP should be focusing on, and it's certainly not something that the 310 graduates of the PMA class of 2023 are thinking about, because it's going to be a bright, exciting, and possibly precarious future ahead of them as they leave the halls of the PMA. This has been Bea Cupin reporting from potentially rainy Baguio. Thank you for watching, and keep it here on Rappler.